Okay, this week I had the pleasure of the pleasure and displeasure. I had the pleasure of being given an anxiety attack by Gaspar Noe, who is my favorite administerer of cinematic anxiety attacks. Noe is the only filmmaker in this current crop of provocateurs that we have right now that I'm really on board with. It's not that the other ones go too far for me or anything like that. I think Noe goes farther than they do actually, but there's something about Noe's approach that just it feels less insulting to me. I think maybe the highbrow perspective that Lars von Trier and Michael Haneke and to a degree Darren Aronofsky are coming from um, make me feel like they're trying to judge the tropes that they're using to tell their stories. But maybe especially Haneke. The movie that really got under my skin was his Funny Games, which, as a lifelong horror fan, I found very insulting. Um, it's just kind of preaching and talking down to the audience, and like you are rooting for the victims, aren't you? Kind of a thing, to which my response in the moment was, are you implying that it's my fault that your villains are more interestingly written than your victims? But I digress. Noe, I think, really embraces all of the exploitation tropes that he loves to work with, sex, violence, and drug use. Um, I think he views those three things as coping mechanisms that humans use to get through life, basically. His worldview is not a sunny one necessarily, but he calls himself mammalian, and I do believe there are these moments of genuine joy and even love in his films. Maybe 20% mixed in with like 80% pain and suffering and awfulness. But I don't know, there's something about, as pessimistic as Noe is about the human race, there's something about, especially the dance sequences, the opening scene that everyone's talking about right now in Climax, that really does express a joy and a love of life to me. I think Noe suspects what we are capable of and is doubtful that we'll get there. That's basically what I'm going for with this. So yeah, Climax is not a drug scare, not an anti-drug film. If anything, it is a testament to the vital importance of set and setting. This is a group of people in an isolated environment who are just getting to know each other, and they've all been dosed against their will and against their knowledge with acid. There's acid in the sangria, and everybody copes with it in different ways. And unlike Enter the Void, which is possibly the most psychedelic movie ever made, that movie did everything it possibly could to put you inside the head of the protagonist, which meant a lot of CG and a lot of post-production visual effects that are just fucking extraordinary. This one is all practical. Everything is conveyed, the whole nightmare of the acid trip is just conveyed through the performances of the dancers and camera movements. There are no artificially added, tracers or sparklies or alien tentacles or we just follow characters from room to room, and because they're dancers, again, there's a bare minimum of dialogue in the film, with the exception of one scene that's like all dialogue, but so much of the bad trip is expressed through movement, so the film continues to be a dance piece all the way through, and all the primary expression is done through bodily movement. It's a very, very physical, very visceral film. And that's the kind of movie that Noe likes to make, and I think he's incredibly effective at it. So yeah, I don't think he has any shame about working with these storytelling tools, which really should be validated by now. I can't believe critics are still fucking complaining about certain filmmakers like Tarantino and Noe, and if I ever get into making films on the regular, who use violence all the time as a storytelling tool. Sex and violence are really the most important elements in human life. They always have been. They are literally a matter of life and death, and there's no shame in wanting to tell stories about those things. Um, so yeah, he doesn't feel it. He just wallows in it, you know. Sometimes to a very juvenile, excessive degree. Yeah, I'll absolutely. But don't they all? And there's enough going on in his films cinematically. Um, there's enough of a payoff, enough of a takeaway to justify the hell that he puts you through watching this movie, and this really is a vision of hell. It's really quite extraordinary, and it just clicks slowly up the track. Just some amazing shit. I'm not going to spoil too much that isn't already in the trailer, but you get to look around and see what's going on here, and you know, like, oh, there's a brother and sister. Okay, I've seen Into the Void. I know where that's going, and okay, there's these two seemingly toxic dudes talking about wanting to fuck everybody. Okay, this is Gaspar Noe. I know where that's going. Oh, there's lesbians. I know where that's going. Oh God, there's a fucking kid. Oh fuck. And yeah, from that moment, I think just the anxiety does not stop. It just gets, it's palpable. It's physical in a way that very few filmmakers are able to pull off. And I think you know already if this is your cup of tea or not. This kind of filmmaking. By process of elimination, it's Gaspar Noé's first R-rated movie, so you might have a better chance with this one than any of the other ones. But trust your own intuition. You know what you can handle. But if you can handle it, fucking go see it in a theater. It's extraordinary.